Last week, a number of leading photo agencies, including the Associated Press, issued a kill notice about a photograph released by Buckingham Palace of the Princess of Wales and her 3 children, saying it had been doctored, prompting all sorts of conspiracy theories about the whereabouts of the princess. However, more concerns have risen today about a suggestion of another photoshopped image issued by the royal family. In this case, one of our dearly much-missed late Queen, with her great-grandchildren, published in April last year to commemorate what would have been her 97th birthday, supposedly taken by the princess. And look again at that photograph. That is one of my most favourite photographs of our late Queen. So what would you expect? More conspiracy theories to follow this latest development. I'm joined now in the GB News studio by our same panel. Thank you both for remaining with us. And by Duncan Larcombe, former royal editor of The Sun. Duncan, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us tonight on State of the Nation. Are you surprised about this row about photoshopping? And is it really a big deal? Because most people do this with family snaps.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of people that just think, so what? And I can understand that reaction. But these pictures issued by the palace they're moments in history. They're very important. And if they've been played with and doctored in any way, that does raise some quite serious questions about the honesty and transparency of the palace machine, if you like.
Is the problem, Duncan, that maybe the palace machine doesn't really think like journalists do, particularly with AI threatening a lot of professions at the moment? People are hypersensitive about putting out photographs that may have been tinkered with, and that's why you saw those 3 agencies object last Sunday night.
Yes, I think you're right. I think there's been a big concern for quite some time with Kate, who's a very, very keen amateur photographer, taking it into her own hands to take pictures, to release them to the press for us to lap up and fawn over when they're not actually taken by a professional photographer who's a journalist, a photojournalist, and who's actually not going to change anything for fear of, my goodness, the repercussions if you did as a journalist. You'd be in trouble.
Can I ask you, I wonder what started this. I know that it started with Kate doing it herself, and as a professional journalist myself, I thought it was because she wanted to control the copyright, how those photographs were used in future use. And by doing it yourself as a photographer, you can control where those photographs are used.
Yes, I think that's right. I think, and Kate's been doing this for a number of years, pretty much since she started to have children. I think she would release the birthday snaps and in a way take control over her own sort of photographic destiny. But she's been caught out, and I think the reaction that we saw last week is enough to, I'm sure, convince her that photoshopping pictures is really something that she's not going to be able to do again.
Just finally, do you feel sorry for her, Duncan?
I think she's subject to a lot of online trolling and rumours, but I think last week was a real big gaffe. Probably her most serious gaffe. She's not really. She's Kate Middleton. She doesn't do anything wrong, and I think this time she really did.
That's right. Well, listen, Duncan Larcombe, ex from the Sun, thank you for joining us tonight on State of the Nation. Still with me in the studio here in Westminster is my panel, former Brexit Party MEP and journalist Annunciata Rees-Mogg, and the author and broadcaster Amy Nicholl-Turner. And to you first, Amy, is it a big deal or not?
Well,
the second photograph has emerged.
It feels like everybody thinks this is a very big deal. And, I thought it would be something like what Prince Andrew got up to that would bring down the royals finally. But who would have ever guessed it'd be photoshopped?
Yes.
But I really feel like this is just... Have you seen those apps where they say best shot? Right? So you have a series of photos. How difficult is it to get 3 kids to all look that perfect?
Yes.
So if you take a series of pictures...
Well, they're royal children, Amy. Perhaps they are perfect.
and then you mash it together. I think that's all that this is. But the world has gone mad, and the conspiracy theories have been quite...
Annunciata, I've got to ask you, can your brother Photoshop anything?
Probably about as well as I can. No, neither of us have a clue. But I think we should go back to the Henry VIII's day, where the portrait of Anne of Cleves was so flattering that he saw her and was appalled at her ugliness. But so perhaps the royals should re-employ hard-working portrait painters to make sure they look as they want to look.
Perhaps we should issue just annual portrait paintings and forget the still photographs. I mean, I feel really sad about that Queen picture, because I think that was a wonderful, happy photograph of the grandchildren.
But I think, if you take my explanation, and it still can be, it's just the kind of combination of all the pictures put together. But can you imagine? I'm quite surprised that people haven't come up and said Meghan Markle photoshopped it.
Yeah. Well, let's not bring her up.
Photoshop's her own, apparently. It would seem every celeb does, and I just can't get wound up with this. I just hope that the Princess of Wales makes a swift recovery and can come back to
and
the
explains
public
what
life
happened
herself.
with her illness in a way which is appropriate.